Hello, everyone. Welcome to Fruit Trees versus Humans, the Jewish Laws in Wars. Today, we're going to talk about the Jewish laws in war. Yes, you heard me right. Wars. Because apparently there are some rules and regulations that apply to killing people in the name of God. Who knew, right? Hi, I'm Scarlett, and I am narrating for Gino DiCaprio. Do you know that there are some Jewish laws that forbid you from destroying fruit trees in war? Yes, fruit trees. Not people, not buildings, not animals. Fruit trees. Why is that? And what does that have to do with the recent conflict between Israel and Hamas? Well, stay tuned, because in this video, I'm going to reveal the shocking truth behind the Jewish laws in wars. Imagine you are living in Gaza, a small strip of land on the Mediterranean coast, surrounded by Israel and Egypt. You are one of the 2 million Palestinians who live there, under a blockade that limits your access to food, water, electricity, medicine, and other basic needs. You wonder why your leaders have not invested more in building your own infrastructure, instead of spending money and resources on weapons and rockets. You are also under constant threat of violence as Israel and Hamas exchange airstrikes and rockets, each claiming to defend their interests and their people. You have no say in this conflict, no voice, and no choice. You are just a civilian, trying to survive. Meet Sarah, a 25-year-old Jewish woman who lives in Tel Aviv, the largest city in Israel. She works as a journalist for a local newspaper, and she is passionate about human rights and social justice. She is also a pacifist, who believes that war is never the answer, and that dialogue and negotiation are the only ways to achieve peace. She is appalled by the violence and suffering that the conflict between Israel and Hamas causes, and she wants to raise awareness and empathy for both sides of the story. Meet Ahmed, a 23-year-old Muslim man who lives in Gaza. He works as a teacher for a local school, and he is passionate about education and culture. He is also a resistance fighter who believes that armed struggle is the only way to liberate his people from the oppression and occupation of Israel. He is proud of the courage and sacrifice that the conflict between Hamas and Israel requires, and he wants to defend his land and his dignity. One day, Sarah decides to go to Gaza to report on the situation and to interview some of the people who live there. She wants to show the human side of the conflict and expose the injustice and suffering that the war causes. She gets a special permit from the Israeli authorities, and she crosses the border with a group of other journalists and humanitarian workers. She hopes to find some stories that will make a difference and to meet some people who will change her mind. One day, Ahmed decides to join a rocket attack on Israel to retaliate for the airstrikes and the blockade that Israel imposes on Gaza. He wants to show the strength and resistance of his people and to challenge the dominance and aggression that Israel exercises. He gets a special mission from the Hamas leaders, and he goes to a secret location with a group of other fighters and weapons. He hopes to find some targets that will make an impact and to hit some enemies who will feel his pain. As Sarah arrives in Gaza, she is greeted by a scene of devastation and despair. She sees buildings reduced to rubble, people injured and bleeding, and children crying and starving. She feels overwhelmed and heartbroken by the horror and tragedy that she witnesses. She tries to find some hope and some humanity in the midst of the chaos and the violence. She meets a local guide who offers to take her to a school where she can interview some of the teachers and the students. She agrees, and she follows him to the school. As Ahmed prepares for the attack, he is filled with a sense of duty and pride. He sees his comrades ready and determined, his weapons loaded and armed, and his targets marked and located. He feels confident and courageous about the challenge and the opportunity that he faces. He tries to find some meaning and some glory in the midst of the struggle and the sacrifice. He meets a local leader who gives him the final instructions and the blessing. He nods, and he follows him to the launch site. As fate would have it, Sarah and Ahmed end up in the same place at the same time for the same reason. Sarah is in the school, interviewing a teacher, when she hears a loud noise and a bright flash. She looks out of the window, and she sees a rocket flying towards the school. She screams, and she runs for cover. Ahmed is at the launch site, firing a rocket, when he hears a loud noise and a bright flash. He looks at the screen, and he sees the school hit by the rocket. He cheers, and he raises his fist. So, what happened to Sarah and Ahmed? Did they survive? Did they meet? Did they realize what they had done? Well, I'm not going to tell you, because that's not the point of this video. The point of this video is to show you the absurdity and the tragedy of war. The point of this video is to make you question the validity and the morality of the Jewish laws in wars. The point of this video is to make you think about the human cost and the human value of the conflict between Israel and Hamas. Are the Jewish laws in wars just and fair? Do they protect innocent lives and minimize harm? Or do they justify violence and aggression? Do they promote peace and dialogue? Or do they fuel hatred and division? And what about you? What do you think about the Jewish laws in wars? What do you think about the conflict between Israel and Hamas? What do you think about the people who live and die in this conflict? What do you think about yourself and your role in this conflict? These are the questions that I want you to ask yourself after watching this video. These are the questions that I hope will make you more aware and more compassionate. These are the questions that I hope will make you more human. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and follow to my channel. And don't forget to leave a comment below and let me know what you think. I'll see you next time.